and we will go straight into question. Mr. Jowhari, you have 7 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Minister Duncan, Minister Bains, Minister Chagger, Deputy Minister and Assistant Deputy Minister. Thank you for making the time today. We're privileged to have you joining the committee and sharing your thoughts with us. I'd like to, at the outset, thank Minister Chagger for making a special visit to my riding of Richmond Hill, where we had the opportunity to be able to showcase some of the capabilities that we have in being able to help with the innovation and with the growth agenda. I also like to invite the other two ministers to join us because we would be able to showcase that we have the building blocks to be able to be an active participant both in the growth, research, development, innovation, and the growth of the economy. I'd like to also thank the Prime Minister for sharing your mandate letter with us. The mandate letter that gave us the vision, gave us the general direction that your ministries will be taking the direction, and also a sense of collaboration among many different departments. On that note, I would like to actually start with Minister Duncan and ask two questions. One is on the sense of the priorities, and I'll touch on that shortly, and the other one talking about one of the things that I understand we share a passion, stem cell research, as well as the collaboration between the ministries. So let's start with the first question. Can you give us, I know you touched on the Office for Chief Science Officer. Can you give us an update aside from that? This is you're starting to recruit for this position. Can you give us what was the finding from all the consultation that you did? I know you reached out to all the MPs' offices to ask for some feedback. And second question is around specifically around the stem cell. Can you expand on the scope of stem cell and how you're collaborating with other ministries, specifically Ministry of Health, to be able to promote that across Canada? Thank you.
I'd like to thank my honourable colleague for the question. I'll start by talking about the Chief Science Officer. You're correct. It was part of my mandate letter that I am to create this position. And over the last several months, I have met with hundreds of stakeholders and have been busy traveling the country. We also reached out to chief science advisors and chief science officers in other countries to get ideas of best practices. For example, Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, the US, and Israel. Our officials spoke to officials in other countries, and I spoke minister to minister. We wanted to see what was being done overseas that we might be able to incorporate. We also did a large consultation to stakeholders across the country, to all our major stakeholders, asking what should a chief science officer position look like? What tasks should they undertake? What tasks should be undertaken first? How should they engage with the research community? And I reached out, as you pointed out, to all parliamentarians. And I've been here for 7 years. I've never seen that. We really want to get a broad consultation. I'm pleased to see we have those consultations are now complete, and we're at the analysis stage. And I don't use that term lightly. We are, after all, a Ministry of Science, so we're doing a real analysis. And I hope to be starting a search in the coming months. You've also asked about stem cells. For the committee, stem cells were really Canada's science. The breakthrough discovery occurred here in Canada in the 1960s by Drs. Till and McCullough. And Canada has led in this area. In the 70s, the 80s, they trained people who became international leaders. And in 2001, these researchers came together to create the Stem Cell Network. It's 225 researchers, $80 million. And I'm pleased to say in Budget 2016, there's $12 million for the Stem Cell Network. And I think my colleague, Minister Bains, would probably like to talk a bit about stem cells. But I briefly want to say there's so much promise. Why that stem cell network is so important, because they're now ready to go to clinical trials. And stem cells, which I know for some people are concerning, people need to understand today a skin cell can become a stem cell and possibly treat 75 conditions. That's the promise. And from cancer and heart disease to immune disorders, we do share, you and I, both a strong interest and to deliver, to support that research and hopefully one day deliver on the promise of stem cells.
Do you have time? Okay, so can we go back to the CSO? Based on that study, if one thing stood out that you learned from all this consultation, what would that one thing be?
I'd like to thank you for the question. I was really pleased. We received 74, there were results from 74 different groups, which is very big. And as I said, we're at the analysis stage right now. And as a good scientist, I can't preclude those results.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you.